Hey guys, welcome to the show today. It's so good to be here with you guys. Where are you tuning in from? Some of you may be tuning in from your homes, your offices, wherever, whatever city, state. It's so awesome to be here with you guys. Welcome to Mind Matters with Ify Otuya, the #1 show on TV on mental health. So today, I'm your host. My name is Ify Otuya. I am a mental health advisor and educator, and I'm also the founder of the platform www.ifyotuya.com. Now that's a platform that provides practical guidance, tips, the sorts on mental health. So whatever mental health challenges you may be having, that's a really good platform to check out because it has lots of useful resources and information to help you through. Okay, so today we're going to have a great time learning about mental health. We have a really interesting topic for you. The topic for the day is paranoid schizophrenia explained. Breaking myths and stigma. That's showing on your screen as well. Paranoid schizophrenia explained, breaking myths and stigma. Wow, that's quite a mouthful. If I wasn't a mental health educator, I would be like, what is that about? And some of you probably have the same reaction right now. You're like, that is quite a mouthful. I'm hearing myths, I'm hearing explained, I'm hearing paranoid schizophrenia, stigma as well. Who wants to be stigmatized? Nobody, hey? So today we're going to be looking at that. Our subject matter for the day is paranoid schizophrenia itself. Now, it's really, really important that you pay attention to what the subject matter of the day is. Why? Because later on there's going to be a giveaway. And during the giveaway segment, okay, we'll be giving out a free gift, okay, worth 55,000 naira, but you'll have that gift for free. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for you to be eligible to answer for the gift, you have to be able to answer correctly what the subject matter for the day is. So don't forget what the subject matter for the day is. You'll also be able to call in during the show. The number to call in is 080-299-38365. That's showing on your screen as well. That's 080-299-38365. I'd love to hear from you. If paranoid schizophrenia is something you've heard of before and you want to talk about, have a chat about it today, that would be awesome. Now, this show is the show to be on when it comes to mental health literacy. We're all about promoting mental health literacy, and it's important that you know that mental health is not something you just hear about. Mental health is something you actually learn. So mental health materials such as articles, stories, quotes, etc., these are really, really important materials for you to actually spend time reading about. So on the show, we read about these materials on mental health, and it's a really, really good opportunity for you to be encouraged to go home in your spare time to be able to read about the same materials as well. Okay, so coming back to our subject matter, paranoid schizophrenia, we're going to look at a definition of what paranoid schizophrenia is. We're also going to look at symptoms of paranoid schizophrenia. Some of you have never heard that term before, so hearing about symptoms today will be a really, really good one. So key signs to look out for, especially in yourself, if you feel like, I've been feeling a bit under lately and I don't know what's going on with me, but my mental health is something that I'm concerned about. So you want to look out for these symptoms and see if they're the same as paranoid schizophrenia symptoms. We've got you covered. There's no need to fear. There's no need to panic. It's just a learning experience all the way. And the good thing about learning is you come out enlightened and equipped to actually help yourself better. So let's move on to a definition of what paranoid schizophrenia is. Paranoid schizophrenia is a mental health condition. Okay, we've got a call coming in. I'm just going to pause with this definition of paranoid schizophrenia and answer this call because we don't know who's calling. I mean, it may be a really interesting call, okay? So hello there, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell us what your name is and where you're calling in from.
My name is Ujima and I'm calling from Lagos.
Ooh, awesome. So you're watching us all the way from Lagos, yeah?
That's right.
That's really, really good. Thank you, thank you. So what do you have for us today? What do you want to chat about?
Yeah, I get when you say paranoid something, even though I've forgotten the the name. The second one.
Schizophrenia. Yes.
Okay. Now, from what you have described, my neighbor has it.
Oh.
It's really scary. So, what should I advise my neighbor to do? Is it something that she can go to the hospital to attend, or to go to church to be prayed for? What do you advise?
How do you know your neighbor has it?
Because he's always quarreling everybody.
Okay. That's good. Thank you so much, sir, for your question. I'll just take that answer really quickly. Now, when it comes to mental health condition, the last thing you want to do is to be going to church to be addressing a mental health condition. When you have a fever or you have malaria, do you go to church? No, you don't go to church. You go to a doctor or you go to a pharmacy and you take anti-malaria medicine, right? Or if you have a headache, you go to the malam or to the store or to the pharmacy and you buy paracetamol because you know that's what you're meant to take. The last thing that comes to mind is to go to the to the church to go and be prayed for. It's good to be prayed for, but God has given us science to actually help us, right? So I think that it's important you advise your neighbor to seek medical help. Seek a professional mental health specialist, to help them in that situation. That's the best thing that they need to do. They can go to a hospital and the hospital will guide them on what to do next.
Thank you very much. I will advise my neighbor appropriately. But meanwhile, let me say that the program is very good. Keep it up, and I know that it's going to help the society. Thank you very
awesome.
much.
Thank you so much, sir. That's so encouraging. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much for that call. We want to hear more calls from you. If you have a recovery testimony that you want to share, I would love to hear it. Maybe you had a mental health condition in the past. What did you do to actually overcome that condition? Maybe that's not what you want to call us for. Maybe you have another question similar to this question. We're here to answer that question. Maybe it's something else entirely. We're here to answer that. So stay tuned with us today. We're reading more about this. We're learning more about this. And I'm sure you'll have new questions that will come to mind the more you read and learn with us. So we're about to give a definition of what paranoid schizophrenia is. The man who called said his neighbor has that condition. Let's see. So paranoid schizophrenia is a mental health condition that changes the way a person thinks, feels, and behaves. Okay? A mental health condition that changes the way a person thinks, feels, and behaves, and also interferes with how they navigate everyday life. So it's not enough that it's changing you as a person, the way you think, the way you normally feel, the way you normally behave to other people, but it actually interferes with how you navigate everyday life. That sounds to me as something very invasive. It's not just there in front of you, but it gets into you and it affects your daily patterns. So that's a definition of paranoid schizophrenia. Some symptoms and signs to look out for include hallucinations, like you see and hear things that other people can't see or hear. Only you can see or hear those things. Delusions as well, which has to do with your beliefs about life. Your attention span to things is quite shortened. So you have a short attention span, difficulty with memory as well, and problem solving. That's a really big one. Then trouble making decisions or following through with tasks. So that's tied to an attention span. You start something, but you don't follow through with it to the end because you're not that committed. You don't commit to it. Maybe you think I'm going to go to the store at 4 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock reaches and you're like, I'll just stay in bed. So there's social withdrawal as well, and there's a great distrust of other people. That's a hallmark symptom of paranoid schizophrenia. You're so paranoid about things and about other people, and there's a great mistrust of other people. So these are signs to look out for. We're going to go on a short break very soon. When we come back from the break, so that we can pay our bills, right? When we come back from the break, we're going to go into a story on paranoid schizophrenia. It's one thing for someone to be talking to you about paranoid schizophrenia, but when you go through a story of a real-life person who has actually experienced paranoid schizophrenia and how they overcame that paranoid schizophrenia, it encourages you and strengthens you on another level. So when we come back, we're going to look into that, Onika's story. Stay with us.
Welcome to Aba in Abuja.
The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Could this trigger the much needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery? Well, as they say, only time will tell. Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, the arrival point. A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among community of nations. Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment. Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative. That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai. Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired. I am refiring at Captain TV. And as you say on Captain TV, get back to work.
Welcome back, guys. We're back from a short break that we took, and now we're going to look into a story. This is a story about Onika's journey through paranoid schizophrenia. I'd love for you to read with us. It's only going to take about 7 minutes to read this story, but the story is very, very illuminating and it's worth your time. So the title of the story is Onika's Journey of Empowerment, Conquering Paranoid Schizophrenia. Overcoming mental illness is a challenging journey that requires patience, support, self-determination, and a combination of different approaches, which can include therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, and self-care practices. The story of Onika is a powerful trenches to triumph story of a young woman who fought the odds to triumph over her paranoid schizophrenia and influence the world around her. Onika was a name that echoed through the streets of Nigeria like a melodious refrain. She was a woman of remarkable beauty, fierce determination, and an undeniable talent as a musician. Her voice could soothe the souls of the weary and ignite passion in the hearts of the hopeless. Onika had risen to prominence in the music industry, her career soaring like a majestic eagle. But little did she know that the very wings that carried her to the skies will soon be clipped. In the beginning, Onika's journey seemed like a fairy tale come true. Her voice was discovered at a very young age, and she was quickly signed to a prestigious record label. But as her popularity grew, so did the vices of the industry. Oh no. Men in powerful positions saw in her not just a talented artist, but an object of desire. They approached her with lecherous intentions, their lust overshadowing her artistic prowess. What was worse for her, unlike the bulk of her female contemporaries, she didn't have a dominant male figure on her management team who could challenge these men or chase them off to protect her in one way, shape, or form. Despite her strength, Onika could not escape the relentless advances and predatory behavior. This is a big deal. Each encounter chipped away at her spirit, leaving her feeling exploited and betrayed. The once vibrant artist began to lose faith in herself and her music. It makes sense. The industry that promised dreams now held her captive in a nightmare she could not wake up from. As the weight of her experiences pressed upon her, Onika's mind began to fray. Paranoia crept into her thoughts like a haunting specter. Every compliment felt like a veiled insult. Every interaction a sinister plot against her. She withdrew from friends, family, and even her most loyal fans. fearing that anyone who approached her had ulterior motives. Now, paranoid schizophrenia gripped Onika like a vice, distorting her reality and plunging her into a world of darkness and isolation. The stage that once felt like home now seemed like a sinister stage set filled with hidden dangers and enemies lurking in the shadows. Her music suffered, her performances faltered, and the industry that had once celebrated her now turned its back. The media spun tales of her downfall, portraying her as a temperamental diva, lost in her own delusions. But beneath the surface, Onika was a wounded soul, desperately seeking refuge from the demons that tormented her mind. In the depths of her desire, a glimmer of hope emerged. An empathetic psychologist, Dr. Adebayo, saw beyond the headlines and recognized the signs of mental distress in Onika. Determined to help, he reached out to her with compassion and understanding, offering her a lifeline when she needed it most. That's good. Dr. Adebayo worked tirelessly with Onika, gaining her trust through patience and empathy. Slowly, she began to open up about her experiences, her fears, and the hallucinations that plagued her days and nights. With therapy and the right medication, the grip of paranoid schizophrenia began to loosen. Onika's road to recovery was far from smooth. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and days filled with tears. But with the support of Dr. Adebayo, her family, and a few close friends who stood by her side, she found the strength to face her demons head-on. As her mental health improved, so did her music. Onika used her art as a form of catharsis, pouring her raw emotions into each note and lyric. Her songs became a testament to the resilience and beacon of hope for others struggling with their own battles. News of Onika's transformation spread, and her loyal fans rallied around her once again. The same industry that had abandoned her now witnessed her triumphant return, not just as an artist, but as a symbol of strength and courage. Her story resonated with people across Nigeria and beyond, reminding them of the importance of compassion and empathy for those facing mental health challenges. Onika's journey was a poignant reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is hope for redemption and healing. Her story prompted a much-needed conversation about the pressures and exploitation faced by women in the music industry, and the urgent need for mental health support and awareness. With Dr. Adebayo's guidance, Onika not only conquered her paranoid schizophrenia, but also found her voice once more. How beautiful. And as she stood on stage, bathed in the spotlight, she knew this time she was not alone. Her music now carried the power not just to entertain, but to inspire and heal, creating a lasting impact on all those who heard her songs. What a beautiful story. Like, it's one thing to hear or learn about mental health, like in a clinical or academic format, but to hear a story of a person, a human being like yourself, a story that takes a human-centered approach to talk about a person with vulnerabilities and how they experience the pain of paranoid schizophrenia, how society turns against them because of their behavior. Like I said to you earlier, paranoid schizophrenia interferes with your daily behavior. You can't just have it and still be acting okay. You start acting weird. People want to avoid you for the most part. But her story didn't just end there. Her story is a triumphant one. An empowering story of someone who didn't just experience mental health or mental illness and stay down, but she experienced that condition and overcame it. Now, I'd like for us to, before we go on another break, I'd like for us to look at a problem and solution that is highlighted in Onika's story. Now, a problem that we saw in Onika's story was that of distrust, which is very, very prominent in most if not all, paranoid schizophrenia cases. It's the hallmark of paranoid schizophrenia. So all cases do have distrust, but with different levels. Now, she had a lot of distrust. Because of that mistrust issue, shows that she was going out to before, she stopped going to those shows. Somebody who used to enjoy going to the studio to record, she stopped going to the studio to record. Collaborating with people, which is very important for her career, she stopped doing that. You know, meeting people, going outside, social withdrawal. She just began to suspect that everybody had an ulterior motive against her. It is so bad, and because of that, the media was really nasty towards her. Like, I cannot understand where the media is coming from. Like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? We will have maybe a media meeting where she would be invited for an interview and Onika would not turn up. You know, the media people will get very upset. So this was exactly what happened in her case. So her distrust was a big problem, but the solution to this problem was a mental health professional who intervened. Like the gentleman who called earlier and he asked about his neighbor, we told him that he should ask his neighbor to seek professional mental health intervention. You should go and seek a mental health professional. There are different kinds of professionals that you can meet. In Onika's case, she didn't go to the doctor, but the doctor came to her. Now, because she had a platform where she was popularized, her case was publicized, and the doctor heard and he came to her. Not everybody is going to have that luxury. Sometimes you have to go to the doctor will not come to you. In fact, most cases you have to go to the doctor, you know. So you can reach out to a psychiatrist, you can reach out to a psychologist, peer support specialist, mental health advisor. You can reach out to a therapist. There are different mental health professionals out there, and if you go to a hospital, usually they will guide you in the right direction. Also on our website, you can get information on who to actually reach out to and what sort of services are actually available out there as well. We especially have mental health guidance sessions, and you can have a look at that if it's the right fit for you.